All right, we are on Chapter 2 of the Principal's Guide to School Budgeting. This lecture is going to be fairly quick because it's really going to look at the EDLE standards, which at this point in the program you should be familiar with. I preface that, and I also must say that there's a possibility that some of you are at different points. Some of you are taking this for professional development credit. If that's the case, then I really would take some time, go online, look at the 6 EDLE standards and how they impact you as potential school leaders. For everybody else that's doing this as part of either the alternative certification or our degree seeking program, you've covered this in the principalship, you've covered this in leadership theory, so this should all be a brief overview. What I'm going to try to do is relate these visions and mission statements to school budgeting. So I'm not envisioning this lecture taking more than about 10 or 15 minutes, but it'll be important for you to look at some of this stuff. If you want a book that's going to help you with this, it's the green textbook that you used in the principalship class. The Nordhaus textbook that was used in leadership theory really won't help. The concepts are there, but that green book, the Practicing the Art of Leadership, I think it was the blue book, that one has all the EDLE standards in it. So if you need to refresh yourself on them, that's particularly what I would look for. So we know that the current EDLE standards were established in 2008. And we know that they are going to be revised very soon, and they're going to continue to be revised year after year after year. Schools change, what's expected of principals changes, that shouldn't surprise anybody here. So the ones that we are still using in our classes relate to the ones from 2008. That's what we're looking at, that's what we're doing. So there are 6 of them. We look at vision, we look at learning, we look at environment, we look at community, we look at ethics, and we look at global. So my argument is this. All of these are important standards. You don't need me to stand up here and say, you know, we can't relate global to budgeting. But if you're looking at this from a principal's perspective on school budgeting, I think it's very clear that vision and ethics are the 2 that are the most important. Because the vision is going to be how your mission and your direction from the school impacts finances and budgeting. And ethics is, are you transparent with the budget, or are you doing things in a legal and fair manner? So this is why you have to be clear and transparent in what you're sharing with your stakeholders, and I want you to keep that in mind as you plan your budgets. I think that's important. So we'll talk about each of the statements quickly and how it relates to budgeting. Budgeting is intertwined with academic success. Administration and management of financial affairs should support and complement each other. If the vision of the school is to promote lifelong learning, then you should be paying for programs that impact lifelong learning. If your vision is to provide opportunities for students to pursue specific goals post-college, then or post-high school, pre-college, whether it be vocational, technical ed, then that has to be incorporated in the budget as well. Even though it's managed by a principal, it impacts all stakeholders, the community, the teachers, the students, but that's why vision is important. Learning is the most important, the most important part of the budget should be instructional, but the learning standards are always important. But I would say that, the biggest part of activities, looking at what's done on a budget, if you're an elementary school principal, it has to be learning because it's Title I, it's activities, it's after-school tutoring, it's before-school tutoring, it's having volunteers in the classroom. But high school, it might be athletics and extracurriculars. This is why budget really depends on that level of abstraction, that building that you are potentially in and what you're doing with it. I need you to know this. I need you to know that English comes first and math comes second. It is for an instructional budget, and you have to plan your money that way, and you have to put your English and your reading programs first and your math programs second. So environment is loosely connected with budgeting. Our textbook talks a lot about keeping the learning environment safe. I don't see you doing this as school principals. I see this coming at the district level. If there are safety concerns in your building, you don't say, I'm going to spend the money myself, I'm going to fix them. You basically get on the phone with your superintendent or your facilities director and you say, hey, here's the problems, let us fix it. And that comes out of the district level budget. So I think relating environment to budgeting for principals is difficult because, yeah, there might be issues in keeping your school safe, but this is loosely connected. This is going to happen at the district level more. So community, you have to mobilize community resources. You have to know what you can actually get out of your community. If you have donors that are willing to help you, that are willing to support programs, utilize them to the best of their ability. If you have people that graduated from your school district that now live in the community and are wealthy and well off, they can help. If you can have parent aides and parent volunteers, this reduces personnel costs. If you can get state and national grants that impact a community, that's certainly something you need to consider as well. As a new principal, this is going to be tough for you. Don't think in your minds that this is something you're going to be able to jump right in and do. You need experience with this. You need to have somebody who's written grants mentor you and help you so that you're able to get one successfully. You're not going to be able to jump in and do this right from the beginning. So I stated this again, vision and ethics are the two most important parts of the budget. They are. You have to make sure that everything you do in the budget is clear to all stakeholders. This third bullet down, I'm going to read very slowly. The quickest way for a principal to be fired is stealing money from a school. It is an open and shut case and something that has destroyed countless careers. If you steal money from the school, you're not going to get your job back, you might lose your certification, you might lose everything. If you're unsure of something, ask somebody else. If there's a petty cash fund that's $500 and you can use that for whatever you need for the building, and you want to spend $495 of it, put it in writing and ask somebody else. Even if it's petty cash, check. Make sure that you're in touch with people, document, and get writing where necessary. Ethics is important when you're looking at budgeting. Global mentions, there's a lot mentioned in global, but the key thing you have to understand is the global economy impacts the U.S. economy, which impacts the state economy, which then impacts the school revenue. Think about the state of Oklahoma and the revenue we get from oil in gas sales. Crazy enough, we're one of the few states where I'm happy gas prices have dropped, you're happy gas prices have dropped, but gas prices dropping mean less money that comes in that can be given to schools. So that's the global economy impacting our local revenue. The other thing that I would note is the cost to find qualified personnel to teach ELL students differs from community to community and state to state. In the state of Oklahoma, down south, in Florida, we need people that are bilingual in Spanish. However, if you were to go to Washington and Oregon, Spanish isn't a priority, it's Mandarin Chinese. So you have to keep that in mind. So you're looking for different ELL populations. So when you're doing staffing issues, the global economy and where people are moving and where they're locating can impact your budget because you have to hire and find ELL personnel. So that's it. This is a quick chapter, but I want you to at least revisit the EDLE standards. This should help you with the final project for the course. I'm going to discuss culture and data and how that can help with budgeting a little bit as well. Thank you.